appreciate your time. And if you have been enjoying the podcast, all I ask is drop me a rating, a review, whatever platform you listen to. I'm just trying to get the reach out there because the message, the more people we reach, the more people we help. It's almost that simple. So today, I'm going to talk about investing your time and really being focused with how you use your time. Rather, the simple switch is powerful. Rather than using and spending time, we invest time. So we take today, we delay gratification so that the future becomes better. Sacrificing today for a better future, I don't even like the word sacrifice because I guess we're giving up today, but if you're doing something meaningful, you have a powerful vision, a strong mission, it's not really giving anything up because the future you're creating, it's worth creating. So, number one, let's start with focusing on the right things and how that makes the rest fade. If you are putting your attention on negative aspects of life, on things, activities, and people that do not raise your energy, that doesn't improve your health, it's such a detrimental activity to be doing this. When you focus on the right things, you just find yourself more satisfied, higher energy, and rather than being negative, low energy, and annoyed, angry, all these negative characteristics, you're focused on things like health. And a simple example would be if you're fueling your body with correct foods, I'll give a quick idea. Whole foods, natural foods, fruits, vegetables, eggs, grass-finished meats, and very simple grains, grains that have less than 10 ingredients, grains with ingredients you can pronounce every single name, you're going to reward yourself by having high energy. And if you're not focused on that health, you're going to get into this chemical imbalance that is derived, that comes from eating low quality processed foods. Things like McDonald's, Wendy's, any fast food, almost any restaurant that cooks with seed oils increases your chance for skin cancer. And I know no one wants cancer. So how you put your what you put in your system, that's what you get out of your system. A trash input equals a trash output. It's that simple, really. So if you're focused on the good things and you're committed, building discipline, it's not some simple formula. You have to kind of ask yourself, what's the long-term consequence of not eating the right things? Well, take a piece of paper and write about that. If I answer these things for you, they're not nearly as powerful as you coming to the conclusions yourself. So, number one, write down what are the long-term consequences of said activity. Whatever thing you're participating in that you know is not healthy for you, get clear on what's that going to cost you and if it's worth it. And then another example would be focusing on learning. Rather than entertaining your mind, looking to escape reality, you become a person who's curious about psychology, curious about how to become a better drawer, painter, how to create whatever you're passionate about. Everyone's different in their natural interests, but there's always something you can improve. There's always some sort of information or piece of your life that you being curious and learning about will help you. It could be how to become a better vet, how to train dogs more efficiently, how to improve your relationships. Just come into life each day with this curiosity to learn, to improve the way that your brain operates. There's no more valuable investment than investing in your mental capacity. So Another thing to focus on would be kindness and improvement. We already really hit improvement, but if you're taking time to be kind to other people, you are going to recognize negative thoughts when they arise. And instead of being rude or ignorant or yelling, you're definitely not going to be perfect. You might go through these things, but just reflect. See how you feel when you're kind to someone, wishing a good day with your authentic heart, compared to how you feel after you've had an argument. Guarantee you want more of the feeling after you wish someone a good day. So, number two would be comparison. If you're investing your time in comparing to other people, it's the root of pain. Comparison is directly the thief of joy. And it's a tough line because social media can be very valuable. If you unfollow all the people that when you see their post that makes you feel like trash, and you start following people who are putting out educational, high energy content that inspires you, that makes you think, there you go. That's like an inch forward in the right direction. But if you're following this person who only posts their materialistic goods, gives no value to your life, but is simply showing you their highlight reels, let me ask you, how does that make you feel? Yet again, write this thing down. How does it make you feel when you see people online who are not providing value, but simply showing you their highlights? I know the answer. You need to come to the answer. So it's this foggy line. And another powerful point I would get to is comparison is a tool, but compare to your previous self. You yesterday, are you fixing bad habits? Are you replacing them with healthy habits? So instead of eating junk food, you're eating healthier. Instead of playing video games all day, you're playing video games for a short amount of time. Nothing great happens overnight. You have to make incremental changes. If you go too intense too quick, you'll burn out. You're much better to consistently improve upon yourself. So let's say you have some terrible habits right now and you know you have some terrible habits. Start slow, guys, really. I want you to be consistent rather than go through this little cycle of burning out, getting so sick of being sick and tired, making too many changes too quick and burning out again. Longevity and consistency of doing the right things is much more important than the intensity at which you do these things. So compared to your previous self, in a good activity, I'd say take a piece of paper. You notice recurring theme. We like pen and paper. Write down who you want to be, maybe your top 10 values, and create this North Star, this high aim that you can begin to work and edit over time. You always want to be adapting. I'm not a huge fan of 10, 20-year, 30-year goals because who the fuck knows where we're going to be in that long of a period of time? Geez, like just focus on being better than your previous self, reflecting upon your previous self, and I promise you amazing things will happen. It takes work. I'm not saying it's easy. It really isn't. Hmm. But at the same time, anything worth having is not easy, okay? So, number three is participating in voluntary pain often. And voluntary pain, let's really define that. It is the choice to do something that you know is hard because you're aware the long-term benefits are in your favor. So the long-term consequences of not focusing on the right things, it's the same idea. The long-term benefits of participating in voluntary pain, you can handle unexpected things. You can handle uncertainty much better than if you had not built up your body's awareness or knowledge of participating in hard things. And this voluntary pain will directly correlate to you growing, which is beautiful because if you're not growing, that means you're either stagnant or going backwards. And if that's the case, you're dying. Life is quite simple. You're either going forwards, improving, and going backwards. I don't want to say it's the worst thing ever because you can go so far backwards that you hit the rock bottom so fucking hard that you bounce off the rock bottom. You're like, no, 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 I'm done with this. And that rock bottom can be what really initiates you to deciding, committing to making changes because you just can't do it anymore. That's pretty much what happened to me. And I went through stages. You definitely, life is seasons, but you will go through these seasons of being stagnant. And being stagnant, that's the worst place because it's a little bit comfortable. You know you're not doing what you should be doing, but at the same time, you're comfortable. And that's a very tough part about our generation in the 20th century. We have so much luxury that motherfuckers are able to just be average and be okay with it. And by being okay with it, trust me, I was average for a long time. And I wasn't okay with it, but at the same time, part of my mind was okay with it. Very hard thing to explain. I was chilling most of the time, numbing myself, distracting myself, fake friends, big circle, lots of acquaintances, using substances, eating junk food, just doing anything but being alone. See, I'm glad I brought that up. Solitude is such a tool when building yourself. One of the most important things to look for. See, I had a long-term relationship. It was quite toxic. You know why? Me and my partner were both emotionally unstable. We were so codependent on each other that it created this fissure in our ability to trust, to live each day. And it was like, this idea is powerful. If you can go a period of time away from your partner, a day or 2 days, a week, and miss them, actually want them, it builds your bond. So in this past relationship, we were always together and it was always unhealthy because there was no missing of each other. It's very hard to unpack, but the point is you want to be with someone who participates in voluntary pain, someone who is able to enjoy alone time. Because if you can't be by yourself and be happy, I wouldn't expect you to be able to be happy with someone else. Like that's a weird concept to think about. So another piece of voluntary pain is learning to enjoy hard work. It takes time. It really does. Things like reading, journaling, exercising, anything that it really isn't instant gratification, learning to enjoy it takes time. The number one thing I would say that's important to this is having the long-term goal, the meaningful vision. Because without some sort of longer term idea, these things may seem useless to you. But when you remind yourself, wait, why am I reading? To build my language, to have a healthy escape. See, reading, it takes you in a bit of a escape realm, but it's not the same thing as drinking alcohol to escape. Because reading, you're getting better language, you're more improving your ability to articulate yourself, and it doesn't have negative effects. It improves your ability to focus. And I'll say this a lot, attention is the most important currency right now. See, time's important, but within time is your attention. So learning how to focus on something, learning how to do deep work, that's underrated. And what does reading do? It improves your attention. So really the last thing I want to hit is accepting delayed gratification. This voluntary pain, it's hard in the moment, but you are going to receive gratification for that voluntary pain. You just have to remind yourself of this. And over time, you won't need to remind yourself because you'll know. Like, it's weird. It's really odd. But I go to the gym, I read, I journal, and I I don't have any doubt in my mind what it's doing for me. I can learn to enjoy it. It doesn't happen instantly, it's taken time. But when you do these acts of delayed gratification, eventually you come to realize this is just amazing for me, and I'm going to keep doing it because it's amazing for me. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. So number one, focusing on the right things makes the rest fade. Number two, comparison is the root to pain. You want to be doing less comparing to others and more comparing to yourself. And number three, voluntary pain will often bring you new growth. So put yourself in hard circumstances. It's not easy. I think I'm going to end every podcast with that. This is not fucking easy, but I promise you it's worth it. Building yourself to your genetic potential is worth it. You know, there's only one thing worse than finding out that you have unlimited potential, and that thing would be not taking action on that. So do something today, one step. You know, those three things are great, actual, practical advice. And if you enjoyed, do me that favor, a rating, review, whatever platform you listen to. I appreciate you. I am grateful for you, and I wish you a great day.